Hi, everybody, and welcome to Nourishing Your Multidimensional Body. This is Kathy Homeyer, and welcome to the show for all of you live. I see you folks already. Hello, hello. Please do comment on where you're from. I love seeing where you guys are all from and what brought you here. Today I am interviewing Amy Jo Ellis. And this is exciting because it's the first time that I have met her. And for those of you who know a little, most of you probably know me, but a little bit of background, I am in the Adirondacks in Lake Clear, New York, and I have kind of a quadruple life of being an innkeeper, a chef, an energist, nutritionist, and do a lot of sorts of things, and finally have combined all my interests and loves into my program called Nutritional Energetics. So I do it both online and on-site. I host retreats at my lodge. It is, if you want to check it out, it is lakeclearlodge.com. And then we also have a live webcam, and we have a portal on our lake over St. Regis Mountain. It's really awesome. You can take a look at that. It's lakeclearlodge.com/webcam, and you can watch a sunset over St. Regis Lake, kind of facing the energetic portal as the sun sets over St. Regis Mountain. So if you want to check us out, we do live retreats here. I'll be doing my nutritional energetics, the first one of mine, in November. So I hope you guys can think about coming to the Adirondacks, come meet each other. We all talk to each other online, and we did that in September with Karen Kahn's group and a lot of folks that I knew as well, and it was awesome. So I'm going to do that again in November and have different retreats, different wellness retreats. And if any of you are practitioners and want to work with me in terms of having maybe your first retreat, we can do it jointly. So I help advertise, you advertise, and we find the right folks for our group and have a great time really meeting in person. So with that being said, hello, everyone. Please do comment. Tell me where you're from. And Amy Jo, welcome to Nourishing Your Multidimensional Body, and I'm so happy to meet you.
Hi, so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I have to admit that I've seen your stuff. I've seen you online, and I have your books. I have the Court of Atonement books, but I've never really used it that much. And just recently, it kind of came up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my whole family needs to be in there. So for those who don't know you, can you tell us a bit about the Court of Atonement and how to, we kind of entitled the show, How to Spiritually Resolve Conflicts, but take away the show, and I'll interject with some questions, if you don't mind, now and then.
Yeah, if you can. See, let's just see if you got a crowbar and can get a word in edgewise with me. It can be difficult. If I start channeling, it's like you can't stop me.
Okay. Well,
yeah. So this all kind of happened. We were living in Puerto Rico, and my husband was commenting that I had everybody and their uncle was calling me on my birthday and sending me texts and saying happy birthday to me. And so I thought, okay, I can. My husband said, you know what? He said, I love how everybody responds to you and gives you the birthday wishes. He goes, but it's so sad. Things are so bad in my family that nobody has sent me a text message or said happy birthday to me in years. And I thought, gosh, that's really a shame, and they're all nice people and everything. They just have these different things that they'd said to each other. So, or things that had happened. And so I asked my guide, I said, what can I do to help bring my husband's family closer? And he said, place their souls in a court of atonement. And I thought, well, what the heck does that mean? And I went in and I Googled it, and it turned out that I just confused myself with the word atonement. Nothing was there. I mean, it talked about it being a little bit like forgiveness and this and that, but it wasn't really clear to me what it meant. And I finally said, okay, what does atonement mean to, because I'm not going to just do this blindly. So my guide said, it is, just look at the word, at-one-ment. It's bringing everybody back to one, back to wholeness. So I did what he said, which was to place myself and my husband's family into a court of atonement and ask to resolve our issues on the astral plane. So that's basically all that he said. But then I got to listen in, and I heard where it sounded almost like a court of law, where one soul said to the other, I charge you with this, I charge you with that. And, and the other, and then they said how, and then they kind of went all the way around the room, because we put everybody in the family in there. Now, if you're doing this, you don't have to listen in. They only had me listen in so that I could teach people about it. So anyway, I listened in, and then, you've been charged with this. How do you respond? And they either said guilty, not guilty, or guilty with probable cause. And if they said guilty with probable cause, after they went around the room, they got another chance to say why they did what they did. And at the end of that, most everybody said, I dropped my charge. But 2 people in the family said no. They said their charges still stood. They still believed that they were right. And then the host of the Court of Atonement said, okay, life reviews for both of you from the other one's perspective. And immediately the voices in my head were saying, I dropped my charges. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I didn't understand. And so basically what's happening in the Court of Atonement is that you take the souls, which are much bigger than we are. The souls are this effervescence of God, basically, that's not contained within our bodies. It's all over. It's permeating everything, pretty much. And when you put the soul and the consciousness of who you are into this Court of Atonement, the 2 souls meet. They hash out whatever the problems are between them, and then it delivers that healed information back to your cells. So I kind of think of it like, if you're supposed to have a date tonight and your boyfriend is really late, he's not showing up, he doesn't call, there's nothing. All of a sudden, the woman whose boyfriend is late, she's remembering the last time a boyfriend was late and he cheated on her. So she's getting madder and madder and madder. And as soon as he comes on, it calls her and says, hey, she's like, where were you? And she's really mad. And he goes, I'm sorry, I'm in the hospital. Whoosh. There's no more anger. There's no more. It just drops in the second that you understand. That's what forgiveness is understanding. So the Court of Atonement puts the souls outside of the limitation of our bodies into a sacred space to meet each other. And we're just using our words to ask for it. And once those 2 souls meet and they discuss what the issues are, they go, oh, and our bodies relax. We actually feel a physical relaxing in our bodies after we do it. So a lot of people use this to like manage where they used to be having like anxiety and panic attacks. Whenever they feel something that's making them have anxiety or panic, they put it into a Court of Atonement to understand the situation, and immediately they feel better. So anyway, I did that with the Court of Atonement. And for my brother, or for my husband's family, and my birthday was April 6th, and on July 25th, every single member of his family sent him a birthday wish, called him, sent him text, sent him an email, whatever. But they had not contacted him in 10 years since the original problem had arisen in that family. So we see this traumatic change, but we didn't understand that you could use it again and again. It was just like this one-time thing that I did. And then I was down at my house and I heard my brother arguing with his girlfriend. So I asked, what can I do? And again, I was told, place him in a Court of Atonement. And the next morning, my mom said, what did you do to your... And I said, I didn't do anything to him. What are you talking about? And she goes, no, he's so happy today. I'm sure energetically you must have done something. And I went, oh, that's right. I put him in a Court of Atonement. And she's like, well, what is that? And so she wanted me to write it down so that she could use it. And so I saw it better that time too, and said, oh my gosh, this really works. So my mom and I started putting everybody we could think of into a Court of Atonement to heal. And my mom said, well, do you think this helps the souls that are deceased? And I said, yeah, absolutely. It has to, because we have free will. We don't have to accept the healing here. Our soul might take one look at it and go, there's a lot to be learned from what's going on here. I'm going to leave that in place. So you kind of have to just cast these out here, see if they stick, see if they don't stick. More of them stick than they don't. I'm telling you right now. There is so much benefit that comes from doing it, even if you're not seeing the change immediately. So I never kind of throw them out there and go, has he stopped being a jerk yet? Because just the thought of him being a jerk is going to put it right back in place, and it's never going to be able to heal. It's back. So you have to change the way you're looking at people and the way you think about things. Let go of the stories of the past and just see what you want to see. Put it into the Court of Atonement, and wait and see what develops. Just kind of sit back. I think of it like, just skipping rocks. I'm just doing it for fun. And if I end up with what's coming back, then that's excellent. But I don't judge it one way or the other. But like I said, people are seeing this amazing miracles that are coming from it. So the last thing that really set it in stone that it was working was my husband and I are sitting on the couch one night, and my husband goes, I smell cigarette smoke. Do you smell cigarette smoke? And I'm like, no. And then I go, yeah, I do. Actually, I do. And he got up and walked around our house. We live in the middle of nowhere in the forest. He walked around. Nobody was there. And so later that night, I wake up at like 3 a.m. and again, the smell of cigarette smoke, but it smells like somebody's smoking in my bedroom. And I remembered my mentor saying, ooh, I smell tobacco. I wonder what spirit wants my attention. And I thought, oh, maybe somebody wants my attention. And the energy went, yes. And I went, who's here? And I saw in my mind a little flash of an image of a photograph of my grandfather that sits on my parents' piano. And I said, oh, Grandpa Richards. And again, the energy, yes. And I said, oh, thinking, haven't heard from you since you died when I was 11. Nice. Hi, how are you? Kind of thoughts went. And I said, is there something I can do for you? And he said, in my head, it's more like a knowing than a voice. I just tried to demystify this for people. It's more like a knowing or remembering something rather than hearing a voice. But it said, please tell your father that I apologize that things were not better when he was a little boy. Ask him to please pardon me. And so I wrote that down, and I thought, oh my gosh, how do I tell this to my dad? Because he doesn't believe a word of what I'm doing here. And so I did the next best thing. I call my mom, right? Tell mom, hey, this happened. And my mom says, oh my God, I put your father and his father in a Court of Atonement yesterday. So that was my proof to us. Oh my gosh, this is really working, because I didn't know she'd done that. And here he came. So anyway, I thought I would open it up to you if you had a question, since it's hard to communicate with the delay. But that's how we came upon it.
Well, no, what you said with the with smelling the smoke, because I live in an old lodge. It was actually built by my great aunt and uncle. And my great aunt died on the property, and I cook downstairs, but in the middle of the night sometimes, I swear I smell either smoke or someone cooking. And I thought, I know I didn't leave anything on the stove. So it's interesting you say that, because I thought, am I crazy here? What do I smell? So I'm going to have to pay more attention. I haven't done that lately, but because people go, oh, is your house haunted? No, I said, well, it's family anyway, so who knows? But she had the same mission that I did, come to find out, when I've had energetic work done on the place. So it's interesting to hear you say that kind of thing to get, to get feedback, because I've never really, I've kind of wondered, but I've never really looked at it like that. So that's really interesting.
Well, we make it a lot harder than it is, because like I said, it's before I knew that I had any psychic ability at all. I always looked up to people who could do this. And I always imagined that when they heard a voice, that they heard the voice, talking. But it isn't like that at all. It's more like, if I ask you right now, what color shirt did you wear yesterday? You will either see a flash of the shirt that you wore yesterday, or you will hear the word green, but it'll be in your own thoughts. And that's really all that's happening with most of us who are mediums or psychics. the information comes back to us through a way that is something that we can understand and experience. So if your aunt was always cooking and you smell food cooking, then that's probably her. If your uncle was a cigar smoker, you'll smell cigar smoke. I was woken up one time about a year ago, and I to the smell of coffee. It was so strong. It was like somebody had percolated it in the bedroom. And I mean, it was overwhelming coffee. And I got up and I started, I asked who it was, and they said, you know, it's Chris. Would you give this information to Beverly for me? And so I went in and call and sent a message to my friend on Facebook. Well, in Puerto Rico, she answered immediately, and I didn't even know that the guy had died. And she said, yes, I'm here. He passed away in my yard like 2 weeks ago. And I said, oh my gosh, he's coming to me on the smell of coffee. And she said, you won't believe this. I'm carrying 3 French presses up the stairs right now.
Oh,
so they come through us on whatever can make us remember who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go back to the Court of Atonement for people who are here who are trying to use it. Mm-hmm. So basically the recipe is this. You think about who's involved with what you're doing. And so you start out with your name, and our names are really important to this recipe. You have to use your name, and as much of your name as you want. So my name is Amy Jo Ellis. I've been married for 30 years, but when I'm calling the Court of Atonement, I say Amy Josephine Richards Ellis. I use my whole middle name and my maiden name and it, because as I'm speaking it, I'm actually generating energy. It's like as you say your name, you're bringing your energy to you. And so sometimes I am Amy Josephine Richards Ellis. I am Amy Josephine Richards Ellis. And as I'm saying it, just yanking that energy into me. And then when I say these out, it's like, you know, throwing a baseball. Boom, it really goes out there. So you want to use your name like a generating tool for this energy. I am Richards Ellis. Call a full Court of Atonement, and I bring in, and you can bring in all of the people that you're having a conflict with. You just say their names. If you don't know their names, you hold the thought of who they are. I'm bringing them in. I'm bringing them in without the name. But the name is really the best way to go, because it's kind of like if you yell, hey, you, in a crowded room, a couple of people look up and go, huh? And if you say, you know, if somebody were to yell Amy, I would look around and go, in a crowded room, are they talking to me? If I don't know them, I'm not paying any attention. If they say Amy Jo, I'm double my attention. Okay, who said my name? If they said Amy Josephine Richards Ellis, I'd wonder what I'd done wrong. And you know it's you, there's no doubt about it. And so, you know, people are like, oh, can't the divine creator know who we're talking about? We're not trying to get the attention of God and the divine creator. We're trying to get that guy's attention. So you're talking to an individual. So you need the most of the name that you can get, as much as you can bring in to get a good, strong connection to them, to ask them to go in and solve it at the soul level.
Okay. So Amy, so most work people draw in, like you said, source or divine intervention. And what I'm hearing is you're drawing in somebody else's soul, and we're sitting at a table and getting things straight.
Exactly. Without the problems of human emotion getting between it, because our souls, I wish I could cuss right now. I would say they don't give a they really don't give a flying fig whether we're happy or we're not happy, or if we fall off a cliff or we don't fall off a cliff. Our soul doesn't stand in judgment. It's perfectly happy and healthy exactly as it is. And we are quite the entertaining little show to be watching as they're moving us around. I mean, as we are moving around, we're more independent of our soul than we think we are. Our soul, I consider it more of an electrical, I think of it like plugging in your computer to the World Wide Web. If you could imagine that the World Wide Web cable actually was part that powered your computer. They could make that eventually. So if it were that way, that's more of what the soul is more of the electrical current that keeps us alive and aware. And it is connected to just about anything. So its knowledge is vast. We have very little communication. Some people have no communication with their souls. You know, we've met them before, haven't we? As they were writing tickets for us. Anyway, I'm just kidding, but yeah, sometimes you're like, man, that guy's got no soul. He's got no heart. He's got no. But anyway, I'm just being joking there, so don't take me serious.
But
yeah, so did you have
in what I work with, and there's some questions too, so we'll get to them, and I think they'll might be explained a little bit as you explain a little bit more. But I was thinking in the you know, I work in I serve dinners, I have guests in my inn, and there's constantly a little bit of, I know they don't understand where they are, but you know, there's always these minor misunderstandings that I'm always feeling like I'm trying to figure out where are they coming from, what are they doing. But so many times in the restaurant, they don't didn't understand what somebody said, and I'm not really explaining it right. But it almost feels like in a big public setting like this, it's not that big, that really a Court of Atonement could be used all the time, because there's always little minor things. And my job here is to make people feel comfortable, to have them rejuvenate, eat good food. And sometimes they come in just not understanding a thing, or judging us on something that we've done. And again, I don't think I'm explaining it right, but it seems like I should almost put like on a daily basis, my guests and I in a Court of Atonement to say, hey, we're really looking to rejuvenate.
It's working right now. I can feel it working. As you're thinking it, you're setting it into action. So I can feel like tension coming off my shoulders as you're saying, I should do this every day. Your whole body's going, yeah, amen. Let's do that. So I would say, okay, so I wanted to say basically the thing is to use your name, call in the people that you're working with, and then describe what you would like to see happen. And I want to think of it this way. If I just had this given to me. So a lot of people will say, I've got this disease, these guys are being this way. And I'll say, okay, well, what is it that you want? And they go, well, I don't want her to be a bitch anymore. And you're like, well, that's not what you put in the Court of Atonement, because if I gave you a call right now and said, hey, Kathy, would you like to get together tonight and we'll talk about you not being a bitch anymore? Would you come? Would you join in? No, you wouldn't. So if I said, Kathy, hey, can you come in and we'll go have some coffee and we'll sit down and see what we can do to get along a little better and have a little bit more fun? Would you be more willing to come in for that?
Okay, sure.
So you really want to look at what it is, the final outcome. And the thing that makes it not work the most, the biggest problem that people have where it's not going to work, is they're not ready to give up the identity of their story. I am a three-legged dog, and I'll always be a three-legged dog, and you have to say, I am whole and perfect and complete exactly as I am. And you look at a person who's been angry and hurtful to you, if you look at them and say, that guy is such a jerk, you're just recreating him being a jerk right back. There's only a few things in my life that I hate. And the one thing that I'll recognize that I hate is I hate to hear somebody say the word narcissist, because they're putting them into a category of unchangeable. This is who they are, and they'll always be that way. And there's a difference from saying, boy, he's being a narcissist, to he is a narcissist. You hear the difference. So these kind of stories, these wordings that we use are kind of like locks that lock our problems into place. So you gotta drop the stories. You gotta let go of the negative thoughts that you have about the situations. And usually it comes so fast that it just slaps you up the side of the head and you're like, whoa, I didn't even, oh my God, I put that in the Court of Atonement. Whoa, it's always surprising how quick this energy comes back, or not. Sometimes it'll explode a little bit. I remember I put my husband and I in a Court of Atonement for better communication, because he was always tuning me out and not paying attention. So I said, okay, I put myself in a full Court of Atonement with my husband for better communication. And he walked up and he got mad at me for not answering him. and which is what I was putting him in a Court of Atonement because he was not answering me. And so then he's like, you always do this, you tune me out. And he was mad, and he came up in kind of a rage, and thought, wow, that was 30 seconds after I called that Court of Atonement. But then I heard him, and he was saying that I tuned him out. And I went, oh my God, life's a mirror. And he's reflecting back to me exactly what I'm doing to him. I'm so sorry, I apologize, you're right. I was tuning you out. I do tune you out. I'll try to do better. And then it was over. As soon as we apologized, he apologized, I apologized, gone. But this little flare up was a gift. It was an absolute delivering of what needed to be brought to our attention to solve it. Because if I put it in there pretending that he ignored me and that I wasn't ignoring him, I wasn't holding my side of the I wasn't holding up my end of what I was doing. I'm trying to look for a word that's but you know what I mean. So Kathy, when you think about the guest coming in, so the recipe is yourself, your name, and then you think about who the people are. And you don't have to have all their names, and you can say the guests that are coming here because they know who they are. And that should bring a good, and especially if you do have their names written on a roster, you can put them in there. But I also like to kind of like reactivate it. If you come in, I have a new website up. It's courtofatonement.com if you're wanting to look for this information. On the page that's like about me, I think it says right now, it's getting changed to be about the Court of Atonement. Scroll down to the bottom, it gives this thing away for free. It'll teach you exactly how to find all of the information and how to do it. And then there are 2 booklets that I keep the price down to $5 a piece because I want the world to change. I want the world to be a better place. This isn't about me getting rich. It's about people getting the information that they need. So I totally give it away free on the website if you want to go in there and check courtofatonement.com, but go to About Me and scroll down toward the bottom of the page. The web builder is going to change it around so that it's at the top. I told her, no, it's not about me. It's about what's going on. So we're changing this. It's only on its 3rd day of being active, so bear with me.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know. So as this has gone, because I've got the first one, your first book, your PDF, and I saw that, and then I saw you had kind of an update. I don't know how long in between, and then I see people going, "Oh, I'm creating a Court of Atonement." So you've really modified this and given people real guidelines of what to say and how to say it for a particular instance.
Right, and we're working all the time because we find that it'll heal illnesses. It'll stop. I went to the DMV and everybody was stuck sitting there, and I just went. I placed and it was getting worse and worse. It was backing up instead of the line getting shorter. Things weren't moving, and so I just said, "Oh, I placed the entire Department of Motor Vehicles into a full Court of Atonement, and all of the people in it." For this going smoothly, peacefully, and enjoyably. And I no sooner said it that all of a sudden I started noticing people around me laughing about how long they've been there. They're all talking, and before they were sitting in stoic silence. I've been here for so long. All of a sudden they started talking, and pretty soon it was like a party in there. And all of a sudden the things were moving out, and I was out of there in 15 minutes from the point, and I was like 20th in line. So I was really, really excited with how well that worked to just, like I said, I put everyone in here for having an enjoyable time, for having this and this. Make the line of what you want to see come out of it into calling it. The other thing I wanted to say, I know that we're almost out of time.
Oh, that's okay.
That clearing our energy is number one. It's the most important thing that we can do for ourselves is to clear our energy. And so people are like, well, I clear my energy all the time. And I'll say, well, how often do you do it? Oh, once, maybe twice a week. And I'm like, you got to do it once, twice a day or more, because some people say, well, I think of it like taking a shower, and I do it once a day when I get up. And I think of it more like washing my hands. As often as I get dirty, you should clear your energy. So if you go out and you go shopping in a store where there's a lot of people and the energy is not as clear as being out in the forest, you want to clear your energy. So I've created a Court of Atonement for quick, rapid fire, really deep cleaning your energy. And it is just saying so right now I want anybody who's listening, including you, Kathy, I want you to notice, how do you feel right now? Just kind of say, on a scale of 1 to 10, good, I feel, give yourself a number. And then we're going to say I and state your name. So say I and state your whole name.
Okay. I, Kathy Lee Fisher Holmeyer.
Place myself into a full Court of Atonement.
Place myself into a full Court of Atonement.
For the purpose of.
For the purpose of.
Developing better boundaries.
Developing better boundaries. Yeah, that's a good one right now that comes up for me. That's for sure.
Okay, so right now, so I state your name, place myself in a full Court of Atonement for the purpose of developing better boundaries. And now I want you to say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling now?
Boundaries.
And
okay, I went from about a 3 to 4 to an 8 to a 9.
Yeah, it makes you feel good. And the thing is that the less you feel like doing it, the more you need to, because things that are we talk about energy attachment, and we make it seem like somebody really wants us and they're doing this. Well, it's kind of like having burrs on your clothes when you go walking through the forest and you end up with stickers and see, burrs stuck on your pants and stuff. When you get a lot of that energy stuck in your energy field, they're attached to you just like the seeds have stuck to your clothes. Once you clear your energy, it's sending your energy out, and it just kind of knocks them all off, and it'll give you more energy. It makes you feel more vibrant and alive. So I use the Court of Atonement in this manner to clear. So, if you guys are trying to write it down, it's just place your name into a full Court of Atonement for the purpose of developing better boundaries. And in what I have taken the words better boundaries, developing better or healthy boundaries, actually, developing healthy boundaries or better boundaries, it doesn't matter. I've taken the words and written them into a script that is like 4 pages long of the things I'm asking to clear off. So it's a fast, quick thing, and I'm asking to bring our energy back to us, anchor it at our core, and broadcast out a signal that puts people in a Court of Atonement if they touch it. So it's kind of it's just a broadcasting. I think of it as a bug zapper. Attitude adjustment coming in.
Well, that's awesome. And I want to just get to some questions here. Of course, I could talk about this forever too myself, but I want to get to some questions before we get too far. Kim had, there was a few Kims. Kim had one with the Court of Atonement. Do you just call them there to work out all of their, I think, issues on their own, or do you just sit in with them? So I guess you're probably always calling yourself in.
Yeah, well, I always start with my name just as a power generator. But you can put them when you put them in a Court of Atonement, you don't have to go into any mental process or state of being. You just say it and walk away, because your soul is going there, not your conscious mind. There are a minimum of 5 levels of consciousness: the soul, the heart, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the physical body. And the physical body can be broken down to every single part of it. So there's really literally millions of levels of consciousness within us that know itself to be something. Like your heart knows itself to be a heart, and your toe knows itself to be a toe. But I just break it down to the 5: conscious, subconscious, heart, and when you put them in a Court of Atonement, they're trying to work out the conflicts that are going between them. So I asked to correct these conflicts on the astral plane. Like I said, the recipe's right there on courtofatonement.com. And so under the About Us section, it'll be moved here soon, or About Me. But that, like I said, that should do it. No, you're not going in and sitting in with them. Your soul goes with them. Their soul goes that you put them in with. But I do this for living, and I do it for the deceased as well.
Interesting. And another Kim is saying, if someone chooses not to participate through free will, is there a next level to elevate the mediation?
No. You have to work with what you're getting out of it, because we're always gaining. If somebody's being mean to us, it's if you're trying to change somebody, then there's something in you that's a match to it. If they don't change, then it's like me being unhappy with my husband when I thought he wasn't paying attention, and he's like, man, you're so not paying attention, that I was shocked, So what will happen with me is, if I don't see the result on that side, I'll say, okay, I place myself into a full Court of Atonement with being okay with them being who they are and behaving the way they are. Mm-hmm. And maybe that'll get me to separate myself from them a little bit more, mm-hmm. or they just won't bother me so much with what they're doing. It's kind of like having somebody in the house that's chewing too loud at the table, and it's really getting to you, and you finally go, look, man, close your mouth. And they're like, I can't, I got these new braces and it's hurting. And then you go, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize. And then you feel bad, and you don't pay attention to the way they're eating anymore. So it's, like, kind of gain understanding, but you kind of have to work on yourself, because life's a mirror. If you're seeing something you don't like, you should work on yourself first anyway. Mm-hmm. So, but like I said, no, I also don't promote spiritual bullying either. Mm-hmm. Don't keep them in. They'll just get worse. They'll, if they, but it's not their conscious mind that's resisting. They're not even aware they're doing it. Mm-hmm. Their soul is trying to bring that information back. So like I said, and it can be your soul that's refusing. So keep that in mind. If it didn't change, since it's all about us, really, if it didn't change, there's something in it for us. So try to embrace, okay, what am I needing to learn here? How do I come to peace with the way things are? But like you said, for the most part, it shifts. It really does shift, or the way you feel about it shifts. So,
and somebody was saying, because a lot of times in energy work you hear, well, we need the permission before we work on anyone. But this sounds very different in terms of, we're not working on, we're inviting in. Because somebody was saying we always need permission from the person to work on. But this sounds different than working on.
Exactly. This is true. I'm not trying to force, we are not trying to force a physical change on a person. Whereas, like, when you're doing energy work, you're trying to invoke a physical change in them. And we're not doing that here. We're going in and we're inviting their soul to come in and do it. And the soul can choose to come or choose to deny coming in. Now, the spirits of the dead, when you call them in and you do this for them, I'm hearing myself breaking up a little bit in the way I'm speaking. So I'm trying to make sure I'm getting it exactly right, because as I speak, I'm trying to speak in truth. And if there's any hesitancy, then I know it's not right. So the spirits of the dead, they can't do this for themselves. They can't activate a Court of Atonement. It happened at the end of their life. And what gets dealt with is whatever is active. And, every second of your life is a different memory. So there's lots and lots of energy out there to be dealt with. And so what you dealt with, everything that was active in your program. Once you're gone, you can't say, oh, I just want to fix this now. They usually come back in and try to get us to fix it. I'm saying that kind of wrong. We activate those memories in things that are happening, and then they'll come back and try to help us to correct it, because they didn't get it corrected in their life. So they're trying to help us correct it because that energy was there as an imprint. But what I'm trying to say here is that when the soul, I got to get my thoughts on here right. What was I saying exactly? Do you remember? Yeah, I had it for a second and then it disappeared. I love it when that happens. No.
And I was listening, and I don't know. Yeah, you were saying that, well, we were talking about whether you need permission or not. And we were just saying, really, it's kind of like a conference call, and people have a choice to come in or not. Right. Exactly. And so there's no need for that. And that the soul, that the soul of the dead, when they come in, they
they don't have the right to start the Court of Atonement for themselves anymore. So we can place them in, and when we put two souls in, they're going to go in and investigate the issue. They don't have the right to say, I'm not going to go. Because we have, if their energy is affecting us and they're no longer here, in my guide, Abraham, he says, it is because you have, the living have dominion over the earth, which means we have the right to ask for what we want and what we don't want. That's where the dominion is. It isn't about, cutting down trees and things like that. It is about what we say goes against the things that are the imprints that were here before. So if you've got a ghost or whatever that, people are haunted and they've got these haunted houses or whatever, you just say, get out. I won't tolerate you being here, and they have to go. So just like that, you place the deceased person into a Court of Atonement, their soul is going to go in and choose to keep. I'm sure they have free will within the Court of Atonement to say, I'm going to come back and deal with this another way, or I can go ahead and grab this energy in. But they don't have the right of refusal of going anymore. So, like I said, that's why it works so well to clean up the past.
Yeah, it was interesting too. What rang a bell with what you were saying there was we have. I look at my website is Nourishing 9D, so I look at 9 levels, and Barbara Handclough says that we are masters of the 3rd dimension. So we, like you were just saying, we have the right to say what we want here, and others are masters of maybe the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, or the 1st or 2nd or whatever. There's other things that are masters of those dimensions, but we, and I think. It's what we're all trying to tell ourselves, but we are the master of 3D. So we have the right to say what we want in this dimension.
Exactly.
Because, yeah.
Oh, good way of putting it. Now, people are always asking me, what does the astral plane mean? And when I asked Abraham, what is this meaning of the words, the astral plane? He said, it's really the space between the electron and the neutron of the atom. It's that space within, and it's everywhere at once. And that would mean cross-dimensionally as well. So when you're wanting it to be cleared on the astral plane, you're wanting it to be cleared across all dimensions. So you don't have to sit there and say, I asked for it to be cleared on this dimension and this dimension and this dimension. No, you're asking for it to be done everywhere at once. But, so yeah, so that's part of the understanding here. And I'm about 80% accurate on that. So if there's room for error, and I apologize if I'm stepping on your toes.
No, that's awesome. So yeah, I've been putting up your website. It's Court of Atonement, and yeah, your PDFs are $5. I mean, I think anybody who this resonates with, you can't help but go get Amy Jo's PDF and use the Court of Atonement. It's pretty self-explanatory. You explain how to use it. You have guidelines on what to say and how to say it for different reasons, different situations, and it's really awesome because it's very different from. Some of the trainings are the same that we get, different ways, different things, but this is really awesome. So yeah, thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. And thank you for having me today. It was great.
Yeah. And Court of Atonement, you also have a Facebook page, right?
I do. I have a Court of Atonement group.
Okay. And is that public or private?
It's public. It's a private group, but it's open for the public to join in.
Okay, so they can look for you and look for your group to find out more, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, you have to join. You have to join. I have to clear you, but if you state where you heard from me, yeah. So I like you to fill out the questionnaire. Sorry about that. Even if you've never read the book, if you just say no, you're in. When you don't answer at all, you're just trying to get in. I wait for you.
Yeah. Well, this is awesome, and I'm going to do more and more with guests that come in and out. And I've like I said, this is really my energetic learning lab between food and energy and people. It's just an amazing learning lab that I'm constantly learning from, and seeing energies kind of coincide and people come in and out, and it's just amazing. So yeah, this is one thing that I'm going to use with guests coming in and out for their benefit and mine. So awesome.
Exactly. It's for their benefit. You can say, wow, I'm doing this for their benefit. You can say, wow, I'm doing this as a gift for them, and especially if you put them in a court of atonement for the purpose of developing healthy boundaries. If you'll do that for each person that's coming. Now, the thing with developing healthy boundaries is I would like you to say it 3 to 4 times a day. Just put a thing on your watch and say it, because once you do that, things go smoother. You stop getting lost on the highway and making wrong turns. You stop having people cutting you off in the grocery line. Your life just starts moving easier. So, like I said, that's just a free gift out here. This fast energy clearing. There's so much in there to wrapped up in that. That'll work, and it's programmed now so that when you say it, the universe knows what it means. You know what I mean?
Right.
When I'm saying I'm programming it, I'm just asking for it in such a way. I get real serious about what I'm asking for. I put it in, and then I follow it with like the Lord's Prayer or something that's a real big energy mover. And I stay in that energy field for about an hour trying to program it in. And I stay there until I get a feedback from the universe saying, okay, we got it, we understand. And then I go, okay. So everything that I asked for is now programmed into those words, developing healthy boundaries, or we had one called building better boundaries, if you choose that way of saying it. But that'll do it for you.
Yeah, well, very awesome, Amy Jo. It's so wonderful to meet you after hearing about all this and getting a little bit more details on how this came about and how it works. I think it's awesome. So thank you so much. I think we got everybody's questions below. If not, we can look through the comments and answer those. I think we got them as we were talking. But thank you so much, everybody, for coming on. And yeah, wonderful work, Amy Jo. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you again for having me.
Okay. And thanks everybody for coming on. We will see you next time on Nourishing Your Multidimensional Body.